Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the OK Grognard Show. It is Thursday, May 21st, 2020, 9:30-ish a.m. Central in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. We're going to follow up last Thursday's first miniatures painting, terrain building slash crafting sort of Thursday broadcast with another of the same. We haven't really done anything in between, been working on other things, non-crafty, but that just means we get to continue from where we left off, and isn't that just peachy? I've got a number of things set up here. Let's do that. Let's take a look at that. There it is. Just has one coat on it of wonderful, inexpensive brown craft paint, the kind you might pick up at a Michael's or any other sort of craft store and get for a meager few bucks, including the idea that you could use one of those prevalent 40% off discount coupons that they throw out there all the time. We're gonna pull out the old big brush. I'm just using a simple Wargamer Army Painter monster brush. It's got a good size, bunch of bristles there. It is meant to be used. Big sloppy thing of paint. Squeeze some out in the old porcelain there, which is what we're using. Let's see. Let's lay down a little paper towel layer here just to keep some of the sloppy paint off of my cutting mat. Get that baby wet. Yep. Not much to say about this. Just putting on another layer. Try to make sure we don't let it pool up too much, which it will. So we'll just go back and give it an extra. I guess if you go back, it's not a once over anymore, right? Give it the twice over. Is that a real phrase? It is now, isn't it? It is now. So yeah, this gets... I've often described my method of painting as slapping some paint on, because there's not a lot of skill in what I do. I'm not a super proficient, extra good artist when it comes to visual mediums. As a writer and publisher, I fancy myself more of a wordsmith than a painter or a sculptor or a modeler or any number of other words that would be applied. I think the important thing for me when doing this job here is to not miss anything. This is the kind of thing that will show up later when the video is reviewed. It's like anytime you paint any miniatures, it looks really good in your own eyes. At some point there's a certain rose-colored blindfold you put on when looking at your own accomplishments, where you that elation of having completed something often blinds you to some of the imperfections. This is true about writing too, not just about painting miniatures or building terrain or any of these sorts of things. And inevitably, what you'll find is that once you take a picture of something, all of those flaws pop up, right? We still don't want to put so much on that we're hiding the grain. And remember, we're using craft paints here. These are not good coverage, not expensive paints. So when we see some, right, you see how it has pooled up across the bottom there, right? That's going to happen. We're going to see that, and we're going to correct it as we go, such as we can. We'll make it look as good as we can. We would rather put another thin coat that doesn't cover everything on this time than slop so much paint on it that we can't see what's going on with it, right? That's important. Sorry, I had to slide my mic up there a little bit. So we're just going to cover it. We're going to cover it and try not to hide too much of the details. Slap it on like that. We'll let some of it dry. Oop, sorry. I think that's the first time I've hit the camera. You know, with the way this setup is, that camera is really less than a foot over top of the table. It has to be really close to be able to get any kind of view of what's being painted down below. So really, it's barely taller than the paintbrush above the table for anyone who's considering doing this sort of thing and has always wondered that sort of thing. I mean, I don't know that anybody else figures this out or gets told how this is done or asks anybody, or if they just do a sort of trial and error, which seems to be the way the majority of streaming shows are eventually made. Now, one of the things I should point out, I guess, is that this looks really raw, right? I mean, it's just cheap brown paint on a pre-primed plastic miniature, so there's not a lot of skill going into this. And at this stage, we shouldn't expect it to be. Where something like this requires is going to get start to looking good, and this is why you want to put the paint on thin enough that you're not hiding a lot of the detail. Where this will start to look good is when we do a wash and we let that black wash drip down into all of the cracks and crevices, all of the so-called wood grain, the faux wood grain that is all over everything. Now, of course, this is going to be, we'll just move it into the center here. This is going to be left to dry after this stage, and there'll be still a little more touching up to do, because there are plenty of places that I don't even know I'm missing at this stage, right? They won't become apparent to me until I look at the video later, or until it is dried and oh, you missed that spot with your first pass, and then it must be an awkward place to paint because you missed it with your second pass, or you really left it a little too thin on that one crossbar there. And that's okay. We will see all of that stuff later when we come back after this has dried and we have a chance to get a good look at it with a fresh pair of eyes. Let's see where we're at here. I think underneath a couple of spots that you can't really see until you turn it this other way. And that's part of it too, is to move it around, get the light to shine on it from different angles, because there might be something that's being reflected that's making it tougher to tell that something has not gotten any paint or gotten enough paint to give it a good coat. These spots underneath here. See, now there's a spot. I don't know if you can see that. I'll point it out here. There's a spot that I really should have given a good X-Acto knife to, because there's a mold line on the back of this brace that until this paint is on it, I really didn't notice it. Now, after this dries, I may go back in and slide the X-Acto knife across that, and then drop some more paint on top of it again, just to see if we can make it look a little nicer. The nice thing about doing one of these, when you got a whole bunch of them, is you get to try the paints out, get a good look, and see exactly whether or not those are the paints you're going to want to use on the rest of them. So this is really a test model. Alright, this might seem like I'm giving this a super important job here, but truth is, this is the test model, and I want to see how this one turns out before I do too much work on the other ones. I think the paint color's good. I think once it gets some black on it, I think once the wash goes on it and digs into everything, once these metal gears and fittings and the studs and the rims on the wheels are painted, once all of that detail has been picked out with different colors, I think this whole piece is going to look a lot better. I have no doubt it's going to look better. So anything can look better than just painting something one color. Anyway, I think that's where we're at on this one. Not a lot to do today on this because we just wanted to slap a second coat of paint on it. Something I wish I had done in between shows, so I could be doing some other better detail or deeper detail on this today, but that's okay. Should be pointed out, I've got some golden brown, and I've got some tan. I don't know what I'll be using for the highlights. I may mix some of that with the darker brown just to make a slightly lighter brown. I've also got more craft paint in the black and metallic silver. Got some metallic gold here too, but that's not going to be part of this. So I've got all the colors I really want to use on this particular group of models. So these will be fine. Just using craft paints. I've got, I don't know, almost a dozen of these. I think I've got 11 or 12 of these. And they are meant to be thrown together to eventually be part of a setup for an army. So we'll let that paint dry. We'll let that go. And then we'll get back to it next week, or if I get a chance, I'll do some stuff in between and take some pictures and then come back and just discuss it. And that'll be easy enough. But in the meantime, it is Thursday. I've already got some reports from Dennis and from Chris and from Todd that they've received their dice sets, which is great. I am glad some people are already getting those. Oh, and I think Mike let me know that his set came to him. I have not yet heard from Jen. And who am I missing? Obviously the patches haven't gotten down to New Zealand yet. That's going to take a little while. And Daniel. Did Daniel post yet? I can't remember right now who's posted and who hasn't. I've got another set of patches that I'll draw for this coming Monday. So if you manage to spend some time in the stream chat here and you're a follower of the Twitch Mark_CMG channel, the OK Grognard Show channel, you'll be automatically added into the drawing. So if you're watching this and you know that you can be free any day of the week, 9:30 a.m., pop on over on Twitch, find the channel, watch the live show, speak up in the stream chat, just say hello. Doesn't have to be anything more than that, just an acknowledgement that you're there and lurking, semi-participating. Doesn't need to be a big song and dance. And you'll be automatically added in. I don't have that same bonus for YouTube followers. At some point I'm going to have to do something special for YouTube followers. If you're there, subscribe. Give us a thumbs up, a thumbs down, whatever you feel. If you're around this weekend and you don't mind doing a little gaming online Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, why don't you sign up at Con of Champions? There's a bunch of seats and games. I think mine are full, but you can get in as an alternate in case we have anybody who winds up not being able to make it, which can happen as places are opening back up around the country. People being called back into work. Some people that thought they'd have this holiday weekend off might be suddenly pulled back away. So some of those seats may open up. Go ahead and sign up as a backup. I'll be able to run it with 3 or 4 rather than the 5 that are the number of seats I open for each event. But I only opened a few for Architects of the West Kingdom. I'll be playing along with my 3 sign-up-ees. Sign-up-ees? Nah, that doesn't work. Anyway, sign up for Con of Champions. It's a good cause. Tabletop events. We want to see them weather this health crisis. As much as anything, they're the backbone of the physical conventions that we love, such as GaryCon and GameholeCon and Gaming Hoopla and so many more. It behooves everyone that all these cons that are taking a hit because they have to cancel their physical presence, when they get to the other side of this, if they have to take another hit because their infrastructure has been demolished because we've lost tabletop events, not good. So do what you can. Jump on in, sign up, go to some seminars. I'll be doing a lot of that on certain days myself because Bill Petrosky's running one. Jump in on that. Boy, that guy runs a well-polished, excellent seminar, no matter what subject of gaming he's talking about, whether it's narrative DMing or running a game table or doing something in a virtual environment. He can tackle any of that and give you good info. And mapping seminars you will find with Alyssa Faden and so many more. So many more great mappers that have been doing things at GaryCon, and various artists that will do events, talks, discussions. I don't know. I don't know if you always call them seminars. I suppose we do. I think that's how they're organized. So, all of that. I'll be running stuff on Roll20, but there'll be games that require Fantasy Grounds or Zoom or Google Hangouts or Skype or Discord. So be sure to look when you go to sign up for events, what technology, what programs they're using to run them, so that there's no surprises on the day. Once you sign up, you'll get an email from whoever's running the event letting you know what's going on. But all that information is already there. What's going on the rest of the week? Well, tomorrow, building virtual tabletop adventures. It's adventure building with some Red Barn Games. Don't forget to follow the channel. We'll get you into a automatic drawing, which is always a good thing. Here, I'll pop back over a couple of things. Got a set of old school Renaissance patches up for this week. We do the drawing on Monday. I was just talking about the schedule. Tomorrow, building virtual tabletop adventures, D&D cartoon episode 8 will be reviewed with a DM perspective on Saturday. We'll do a rules retrospective on Sunday. And we are doing shows this weekend because, as you know, my schedule at the convention, Con of Champions, doesn't start until 11. So my half-hour show at 9:30 is easy enough to do beforehand. Monday, the weekly news and the giveaway drawing. Good times. Tuesday, back to cartography and world building. Grimbald discussion, more campaign discussion will happen on Wednesday, and then we're around the horn back to crafting and painting. We'll get back on those catapults next Thursday. I want to thank everybody who took the time to watch this or to pop in today, like Red Barn Games did today. And I want to thank anybody who's checking us out on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whatever you feel like. It all helps to get that feedback on YouTube. If you're got a Twitch account, then be sure to follow. And as I say, speak up in the chat, because that's how you get added in for the giveaway drawing, which happens each week on Monday. And I'm just getting you in there now. Just a handful in there this week, Red Barn Games. Red Barn Games. I keep saying your name. It's like I'm advertising what it is you do. And I don't know what it is you do, but I'll go check it out, Red Barn Games, and find out, because now I'm intrigued. Hey, you love the CMG stuff. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You know, this December will actually be our 20th anniversary. I started publishing stuff in early 2001, I guess, little things, and then I think that later that October, Whispering Woodwind, that adventure came out. But I was already getting stuff in place, getting the domain name and getting a website together and learning about the OGL and all of that stuff. About the same time you started freelancing. Care to divulge your name in the stream, or are you keeping it secret? It's okay either way. You like to have your anonymity. Otherwise, well, if you win the drawing, I'll need to get your name at some point anyway. But okay, sure. Give me a whisper, and I'll put it in there. No big deal. Well, I'm going to wind it down here. I want to thank everybody. I'll stop the recording and we'll move on to doing some virtual tabletop adventure building tomorrow and on into the Con of Champions this weekend. Thanks very much and have a great day.